This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
So I snapped it one day going about 120 mile an hour. That's what I do when I drive down there.
And co-host Marnie Winfield.
There's a phrase on top that says, do what you love. I'm going to put that one in my office.
It is the 2nd of July. Yeah, everybody. Welcome to 217 Recovery Podcast, July the 2nd.
The festivities are upon us.
My name's Corey Winfield.
I'm Marnie Winfield.
Welcome, y'all. What? Don't look at me that way. It's because it's July. It's July 2nd.
Yep,
We're
July 2nd.
From Michigan, that's how we say it.
Yep.
But the episode from a few days ago called July explains exactly why I call it that. So listen to it and you'll figure it out.
You're not going to call it that the entire month. No.
Well,
No.
but it's July, honey.
It's July.
It's July. So, speaking of going 120 mile an hour, that was on my way to Alpena
Yep.
when I claimed to have put the gas pedal to the floor. It happens sometimes, you know? On my way to Sault Ste. Marie, I have to go through Charlevoix. And just before I get to Charlevoix, the same damn spot I was pulled over 2 years ago, I got pulled over again.
Well, for a good reason.
Yeah, I guess. I got pulled over by Charlevoix County. And he came up to the car and he was like, had his hand on his gun, his weapon. And so I put my hands on my wheel. Just show no threat here, homie. And he comes up, he taps the window, says, roll it down or whatever. So I rolled it down about 1/8 of an inch. I said, what's up? He's like, you got your license and registration? I said, isn't it on the back, man? You never seen Up in Smoke?
Mm-mm.
Oh. It's on the back, man. Funny movie, but it is about drugs. But anyway, no, he came up and he's like, who's the vehicle registered to? And I was like, 217 Recovery. And he's like, you're Corey Winfield? I said, yep. Because he had my ID.
Mm-hmm.
He's making sure that I was the same guy. I said, yep. But he says, slow down. And normally when I go through there, be honest, I don't go very fast. I go a couple miles over, But I normally set my cruise. And I think I had passed somebody that was doing something stupid, like driving really slow. So I never re-engaged my cruise. Mm-hmm. So it popped me doing 69 and 55.
I'll do it.
Yeah. But I was taking somebody to treatment. You start talking about recovery and just, I don't know. Yeah.
You get excited and start just going fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to get this person there now. Nah.
You tell me you said to her, you don't need to say anything.
Yeah, I told her
the passenger.
that. Yeah. Yeah, because in Michigan, they don't have the right to ask the passenger for their ID or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he did ask her some stuff, and she wasn't a jerk about it, but he didn't ask her for ID or anything like that. So it was all good. And he just told me to slow it down. So I really do appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice to let you go. He at least, hopefully, maybe it was because you were doing something good.
I think so. And yeah, I would like to believe so.
I know.
And that really does.
I'm going with.
It really does cut us a huge break because then, boom, you got to pay a ticket. Then, boom, your insurance goes up. And then, it could have been a huge pain. But yeah, good looking out. So thank you. I appreciate it. And I will watch my speed. Like I said, I normally don't go flying through there. It's just one of them things, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was holiday weekend kind of coming up. So it was But yeah, so thank you, Lord. Thank you, officer, for taking a break on me there.
Nice.
I'm sure he didn't have to wait long to get somebody else.
Well, there's lots of police on duty at least where we are, because we're a big tourist town, and we have probably triple the amount of people in our city right now than we usually have.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
It's insane. I was driving back from Sutton's Bay to Traverse City, and literally the whole, like, I'm talking like a half mile even outside of town, people were parked in every parking spot possible. The public beaches were packed. The stores and businesses across the street from the beaches, all their parking lots were packed.
Yeah, and don't be parking in people's driveways.
Don't park in people's driveways. It's not your home.
No. Might as well just park at the tow lot. Have them drive you up. It might be a little cheaper for you.
But it's not, it's nice. It looks like, healthy family fun for the most part. So that's kind of good.
Yeah, I went to a meeting today, and a woman said she had 17 years sobriety. So I was like, yay, big congrats to you. And then she said that she was going to go work the beer tent at the event. And I was like, okay. And she was like, oh, I'm not going to have the urge or nothing. And I kind of looked at Justin, because Justin went with me to the meeting. And I was like, yeah, it's probably kind of like us. like we see people in the back seat, and it just kind of reminds us of where we don't ever want to be again.
Right.
So I'm sure the beer tent, you're, taking beer money and giving them their beers, and people come back drunker and drunker, and you're just like, my God, I'm so glad that's not me anymore. Mm-hmm. I doubt it looks fun.
Did when they have this time when they say, is there any visitors? Was there quite a few people that were there visiting?
It was packed. Uh-huh. Like the meeting I went to was absolutely packed. And last time I went to it, there might have been like 6 people there.
Wow.
And so this time it was probably like 40, 45.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was quite the opposite of what I was used to. I thought it was going to be low key, kind of on the outside of town, sort of. And I was like, oh, yeah, this we can go in here. And no, it was pretty crazy.
That's good. It's good to have a good turnout.
Mm-hmm. So you just wrapped up something that you like to do in your sobriety is watch series.
Yeah.
That you can actually remember. Sometimes you fall asleep and you got to watch them again, but that's way different than passing out.
Yeah.
And having to watch them again. But you just wrapped up season 4 of Stranger Things.
Yeah. And some people think that it's a dorky show, but I like it.
I like I watched one episode of season 1, I think. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what, they were in the mall or something running around. I think you had it on, and I was like, but I never really got into it. But there's a lot of production that goes into that.
Yeah.
And it's like a damn movie.
Yeah.
Like we spent 4 hours watching the wrap up of season 4.
Yeah.
And there might be some people who haven't seen it all, so we're not going to give any spoilers or anything. No. But Marnie was crying a little bit.
I think I can pretty much find a place to cry in every single movie that ever.
When people die.
I cry in Disney movies. I cry in like comedies. I cry in action movies.
You do. I cried in We Were Soldiers. That was a movie that made me cry. But
yeah.
What did you think though overall? Are you just waiting for season 5 now? I mean,
so what I will say is that what I really like about the series is that it makes reference to, like, it's a story that it ties everything together. So if you've been following it, it makes everything from the beginning start to make more sense too. So I don't know if they wrote it that way on purpose or if they just figured out how to make it happen. But you see people that haven't seen it all are like, what? But each season plays on the one of the last, but you don't know it when you're watching it. You finish the season and you're like, okay, clean my hands of that one. I get it. There was the end, and this was figured out, or they beat the what. See, I don't want to give too much information, but it really is actually all tied together.
And I like how they shot like some of this, like season 4. They had film that you'd never seen before that they had shot probably when they were filming season 1 or 2. Because Homegirl was younger, and clearly that was shot years ago, and so it's like they definitely were planning ahead, which I think is very cool. But do you think, though, when they cast those kids 10 years ago, however long ago it was, do you think that they thought they would turn out as ugly as they did?
Stop it. I think they're adorable.
Okay.
I think they're adorable.
Even the dude that
And
looks like Howard Stern.
And I think just like any series, I mean, if it didn't take that first season, there wouldn't have been a second one. I mean, people liked it. Now it's in like Domino's pizza boxes and stuff.
That's how you know you made it.
That's how you know you made it, man.
Yeah, I think that they answer my own question. I think that they knew some of them would turn out a little fugly, but I didn't think they saw it as bad as it was. But it doesn't help with the haircuts. No, it doesn't.
You need to be nicer, just across the board. I think they're cute kids.
Honey.
I'm sticking with it. I think that they are.
So let's talk about lying then. That's a white lie.
Okay, so they're not like Hollywood looking.
Well, the one chick is.
But you know what? Here's the thing. They're human beings, right? So that's what these shows are supposed to be about. They cast people that are just regular looking people.
Okay.
They don't have to all be, James Dean and
the star of it, 8 or 11 or whatever.
11.
She'll be a what do they call them? Sex symbol. She probably already is, especially to people her own age.
Probably.
But I could see her like moving into like, but that's pretty much it. And then that one guy that's supposed to be a nerd. I mean, he was in the movie with Ryan Reynolds, Free Guy or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, okay, maybe. But that's kind of the only real.
I don't know. They all started on Broadway.
Yeah.
So
move to New York, get your kid on Broadway. It doesn't matter if they're ugly. They can make it in this world. It's a good story, honey. But lying though, that was just a white lie what you told about the kids being cute. But when you lie though, and especially in recovery, like I tell the story over and over about the time where the boss came up to me and was like, "Are you in recovery?" And I was like, "Oh," I had that chance to lie about it, and I didn't. And I said, "Yes, I am in recovery." And then he tells me, "Well, okay, cool, because I checked out your Facebook, and I realize you are now." And woo, okay, they asked me a loaded question there. Like, glad I answered it correctly, and I could have easily lied. And it was a moment for me early in recovery. I didn't know if I should come out the closet yet to these people. And yes, he is my employer, but he asked me a question. I'll answer it honestly.
Yeah.
I was trying something new. And in the past, I would have lied about it. Nah, man, nah, and when you lie like that, it could have been the end for me there. He could have been like, all right, well, I don't trust you. I don't believe you. It could have just been bad. But I told the truth and everything worked out. And when you lie in your recovery, and I'm not saying that you have to run around with a sign telling people you're in recovery. Not at all. But when you start lying, you start backing yourself into a corner because you got to remember that lie. And you got to remember who you told that lie to. And then another lie pops up. And now you're painting yourself into the corner even further. And you start telling the same people different things, because you can't remember what you told who and what you told this and what you told that. And people notice, man. When people come to me and they're like, "Oh, I did this, I did that," and then I talk to him again or her again, and it flies out. Blah, blah, blah. There's a different
version.
A whole different version, and I just look at him and I shake my head, and I'm taking notes like, "Well, that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever." And then person tries to like cover it up a little bit, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't call them out on it usually because what's the point of that? Like I said, I just put it in my trust bank of, okay, this isn't making sense. I'm not sure I trust this person very much. And then you see the actions come with it too. And the actions usually are not good. And way in advance, like, okay, this person is on thin ice. And does this person know it? Probably. If they don't know it, that's kind of sad, but people got to go through their own things, and who am I to go throw a concrete block on their thin ice, like they're going to fall through it anyway. Do I speed up the process? Nah, it's too much work.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of sad because it can be tough and it can get tricky. And I totally understand that. But, keeping it 100% honest with yourself will make you feel good. And if it's an awkward question someone's asking, you don't have to answer that. You can just say, I'm not comfortable with that, or say, yes, I'm in recovery. I don't know. I'm just using that example from when I was asked, but
I think people lie mostly to make things easier. They think it's going to make things easier for them or smoother or get them somewhere, something, or just to feel better about themselves. I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of different lies, cover-ups and whatever it is. Yeah.
Sometimes they feel so low about themselves. It's better to make up a story that sounds a little bit better.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really sad, but I mean, we've all had our fair share, especially and when you're in active addiction, you lie all the time, to cover up that's the majority of my lies, what they stemmed from, was trying to cover up my drinking and drugging.
I used to lie and say it was because my medication was why I was shaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why I couldn't order lunch. I felt like my skin was like burning off. It was horrible. Yeah. I'm so glad. Oh my God, honey, I'm so glad I don't have to live that way anymore.
Terrible. But I mean, yeah, and in recovery, we're supposed, the whole idea is to do the next right thing, right? And obviously we're not going to be able to live our lives, as they say in the book, white as snow, but to do the next right thing, right? Don't lie, help your neighbor, work hard, love your family, love yourself. All these things are kind of just living a life of recovery. It's a multitude of things.
Yeah, because you start telling those lies, and like I said, before you know it, you probably had to lie just by association sometimes. Like, oh, well, I told these people this, these people know this person, and now I got to tell this lie, and now I got to keep it going, and I'm in way over my head. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. I don't know, man. It's just tricky. It's a tricky road, and my advice, just be honest with yourself. Be true to yourself. You don't owe anybody anything. Mm-hmm. I used to blame other people for my relapses. And then I would blame situations for my relapses. And I just started I guess, accepting that, yeah, I'm just never going to get it. That's what I thought. I was like, well, I'll just accept it. I'm never going to get it. I'm not like these other people.
Yeah, I thought that way too.
And I put it all together finally. Like I said, thank God. I prayed that I would figure it out one day. I was like, God, you're praying, you're laying there wanting to die because you hurt so bad, and just you're emotionally, physically, mentally, you're just done, spent, and you're just like, God, please, like, just let me figure out why, God, let me figure out what it takes to never drink again and to get this sober life, Lord, please let me figure it out. And he did, but that's the funny thing about God is it'll be in time.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I went through all the hell that I did because I can help people today. But it wasn't until I prayed, God, please let that be my last drink, that was the last drink I had. So be mindful of how you pray and what you ask for. Mm-hmm. Because there's a difference, and it really, at least for me.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go through that hard road. It was a first-timer meeting today, that meeting I went to. It's just like, oh, I just had some stuff I wanted to get off my chest. But it was good. And the guy, I kind of wanted to just say, look, man, if you drink tonight, you probably will. That's what I kind of wanted to say, but thought people would probably beat me up there or something.
Yeah.
But don't give up, though, is my point to the guy. And
why would you think that about that individual?
Let's look at the numbers. 99% probably, very seldom people get it the first time they go to an AA meeting.
Maybe the situation's different.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not. But I just wanted to tell the guy, don't beat yourself up. Don't hang your head for being here. And I did say you don't have to call yourself an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they like that either. I think they pride themselves on that, but I don't. I don't like being called that. I like to be a person in recovery,
Yeah.
and that's what makes me feel better. And that's what I do. That's how I roll. But they probably want to beat me up for that. You don't have to call yourself an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic.
Well, I think that the culture of Alcoholics Anonymous is somewhat just, it's kind of a word that's what everyone has in common. And, so being an alcoholic, and the problem I have with it, and I've shared this before on the podcast, is, and everywhere in work and in my groups, and is that it has such a meaning of like right now, like current status. Like I am currently an alcoholic, which in textbook terms, I was diagnosed with, severe dependence substance use disorder on alcohol. So can I drink and like a normal person? No. So am I an alcoholic? Yes. Do I identify as being an alcoholic? At the end of the day, of course I do. Yeah. But I would rather refer to myself as a grateful person in recovery than just I'm an alcoholic.
In AA too, they say if you have a desire to stop drinking, and I looked at Justin too, and I was like, what if I have a desire just to never drink again? Because at this point, do I have a desire to stop drinking? No.
Well, now you're just picking it.
Well, no, and I might be taking that out of context too. Maybe it's like, you can have what we have or whatever. I mean, maybe that's talking to the person that's walking in for the first time.
Yeah.
But I wish that, wish the dude well, and, don't beat yourself up. But I'm not saying that, hey, here's a free pass. You can go out and that's on your own time, man. If you want to waste time like that and dick around, but it affects your brain. Your brain, it takes time to heal, and it's going to tell you to go grab it. And it's going to tell you that tonight's just tonight's fine. Nobody's going to know. And you don't really have a problem if you just switch to beer, like your brain will tell you that. It'll try to get you to make sense of it all. Like, no, I can still do that. And maybe I'll just drink a half pint and then smoke a joint. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And you'll think that's the greatest idea ever. And then you realize that's not how it works. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to be enough for you, because that's not what your brain wants. That's not what your body wants. But so there's a lot that goes into it. So for somebody just walking in, I didn't want to bombard them with all that either. And I'm not a doctor. I just share what I've been through personally. And
yeah. Well, I mean, we don't know where he's at with things. And when it's his time, it's his time. And maybe today it's his time. Maybe he's doing great. Maybe he went to another meeting after the meeting that you went to, and then he heard somebody say something more inspirational than that.
Maybe. I just did a quick check-in at the end, man. I was like, pfft. That was it. I don't know. But I do want to shout out, though, to Sean. That's it.
Okay.
That's not every Sean. That's just the one Sean.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I'm going to shout out to Ron, and I'm going to shout out to Ruth. I'm going to get Ruth to listen. I think she would like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Kay and
About summer
Mary and Summer.
camp.
Yeah, our good friend Summer, who's awesome.
I nickname her Summer Camp.
Yeah, it's kind of cute for you in like a friend way.
Well,
But I'm
and
sure
we're
it's
not
not
going
the
to say her
first time
last name. We're not going to say her last name, but if you put
she's freaking awesome.
the first
So,
name with my adopted middle
she's
name.
killing it in recovery. Awesome.
Yeah.
And Katie and did I say Mary? Yeah.
No.
Oh, Mary and Emmy.
Cool. And I'm going to shout out more to Mike and our good friends at Breaking Alignment Plus.
Yes.
I did-
Awesome.
I did a horrible job at math as I was driving the other day, and I was like, oh my God, I need another oil change. Because we have do the synthetic, so you have 7,000 miles or something. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, holy hell. So I called them and told them, hey, I need an oil change for Wednesday morning, and they're like, well, we can get you at 10. And I got home and I did the math, and we still have 1,400 miles to go. So I'm like, I don't think I need it just yet. So then I had to call back, and I talked to Mike and was like, hey, man, I got to cancel that. And he's like, hey, man, well, if you ever get time, just come in and grab a cup of coffee, man.
You just went like 2 weeks ago.
I know. That's how much I'm taking a lot of people to treatment, honey.
Oh, good job.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
That's great.
Like still, yeah, like 1,400 miles out of 7,000. So we've driven, 5,600 in 2 weeks.
That's a lot of miles.
That's your husband.
Yeah, good job.
120 mile an hour.
Yeah. And then we're going to have a Tuesday podcast, and then we're going to be out of town.
Hitting the road, Jack.
Yeah.
Good thing I got that equipment.
Yeah.
I'll do one with your
family.
Padre.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about interviewing my family. I don't think I could be there for it.
What? Want me to interview him?
No, yeah.
Or you just want to have questions, or you don't want to talk to him?
No, I think to do a video. I was thinking you should do a video.
Video of your family?
Not of like my family.
Of the podcast?
No.
I'm so confused, honey.
Just do a video of like, what would you tell the family members of someone who has a loved one that's in active addiction? I mean, because decades of my family, and some years, a big chunk of time, I wasn't really close with the people, like with my sibs, because, I really started drinking. What would you say? Like an alcoholic? I don't know what you want to call it. Heavy drinking was like when I was in college. I didn't do really heavy drinking when I was in high school. So I was already out of the house, like on my own, so I didn't really live per se with family members during my active addiction. But then that's not really totally true, because when I was living at home, I did live with my sister for a short period of time, but like I said, it was but I'd just be interested in what they'd have to say. Not so much about that it would hurt my feelings, because I want them to be honest, but like, what would you say? What would they say to another person who has someone that they love that's going through it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what they would say. But they have to have their own thoughts on the thing. I mean, I know some of them were in my intervention that didn't work. No,
I'm not. What, just because I laugh?
No, because I can see the wheels turning in your head.
Well, honey,
how this is going to, you're going to pick until they say something crazy.
No. Does your dad know we play that laugh of his?
No. But he would love it. Yeah.
That's what's up, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah. Well, speaking of videos, you're going to have a video tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow, yeah. Pretty soon. Within this week. We'll do it.
Tomorrow is the only day I got to do it. So tomorrow, yeah, it's going to be the Spotlight, Recovery Spotlight. We had Justin in May, Tyrone in June, and you have to be...
It's got to be like 3 minutes.
July. Something like that, 4 or 5, I don't know.
Okay.
I asked the questions that your mama came up with.
Oh, okay.
And you answered them. And I got lapel mics or whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're called.
I don't know.
Who even says that anymore?
I got mics that you pin on your shirt. I don't know which one's easier to say.
Nobody's going to have a lapel to put it on, so you probably should... They can still have that name. That's fine.
Lavalier, whatever. Those microphones that you pin on your shirt.
Okay.
So there's a little clip on. So I think the audio sounds way better. So it'll be cool, though. So look for that July 3rd.
Good job.
Yeah. And it'll be featuring Marnie.
All right.
So cool. Look for that. And yeah, thanks for listening to the podcast tonight. It wasn't like over the top, I don't think. We did what we could.
Yeah.
We can't all be heroes.
Right.
Another day sober, man, for me. So that's awesome.
Me too. I've Everybody have a good night.
Appreciate your support.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. Don't forget to check out our special episodes found only on the 217 Recovery app.